So our second Australian company to present today is New Frontier Minerals, and also a new company to our Australia Investment Day. New Frontier trades on the ASX under the symbol NFM and on the OTC markets under the symbol NFMXF. I'm pleased to introduce Kevin Das, the company's senior consultant.
So New Frontier Minerals, look, and this is our catch cry, delivering value through discovery and development. We have exploration assets which represent blue sky and real upside, but we also have a copper asset which is quite advanced, and it's a development asset that we really want to fast track. As Steve mentioned, we are actually listed on ASX and on the LSE under the ticker NFM, and then just recently in the last couple of weeks on the OTCQB NFMXF. So just a bit of an investment summary here. These are probably some of the pillars: copper and high value critical minerals. Great strong macro outlook for copper and rare earths. And Australia is just a fantastic tier one jurisdiction, which I believe is going to plug a lot of supply gaps. Rare earths, we have a technology partnership, and both our rare earth projects give access to both heavies and light rare earths. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the difference between the two, because there's a real value proposition with the heavies to the lights, and especially in terms of source of supply and security of supply. We also have a technology partnership with Metallium, which has shown some really good upgrading and beneficiation results from our heavy rare earth processing. Projects are situated in tier one mining jurisdiction. Australia, you've got Northern Territory, Queensland, fantastic mining jurisdictions, great government support, good infrastructure. We've just recently optioned into a project in Quebec as well, which is a good mining jurisdiction as well. So really it lowers our sovereign risk, essentially. And one of our key development assets, our copper project there, and we've got a strategic alliance with one of our processing partnership with our neighbour next door that's got a processing facility as well. So we're really looking to fast track our big one deposit with some low-hanging fruit with some of the processing, along with drilling it out bigger as well. Experienced team with track record, so a really good, strong track record and strong technical experience. And we've really taken a systematic and diligent approach with our exploration development strategy. So we're just going to zoom out a little bit before we zoom in. 3 projects you can see on the map here, 2 in Australia, in Northern Territory and Queensland, and then we've got one recently in the fold in Quebec. Just to look at Harts Range, this is prospective for high value heavy rare earths. Not all rare earths are created equal. Heavy rare earths are really only sourced from China. One of the former companies I worked for and was involved from day one and involved in the discovery was Northern Minerals, the Harts Range deposit. I was a senior project geologist who started that project in 2009 and saw that through to development, and got a real flavour for heavy rare earths and understanding of how valuable and how precious they are, because right now if you want them you've got to go to China, and that's pretty much it. We've now got heavy rare earths at our Harts Range project there. These are an outcropping pegmatites, and you're seeing some amazing grades up to over 20%. But yeah, dysprosium, terbium grades are fantastic as well, and you get niobium and tantalum kickers as well. With some of this, we took a 25 kg bulk sample. We tried some novel testing with Metallium with the flash Joule heating, and got fantastic results of upgrading that 20 times. And so a total rare earth oxide of 1.7% went up to 35% within a single step of no beneficiation required. We've done some drilling and we've got some assay results which are pending as well. Our Northwest Queensland Copper Project in Australia as well. That's a district scale development asset situated in the world-class Mount Isa copper belt in Northwest Queensland. It's got a JORC compliant mineral resource of 2.1 million tonnes at 1.1% copper, just under 22,000 tonnes of contained copper. So a lot more upside there that we're going to advance. Strategic alliance with Austral Resources, who've got the Mount Kelly processing facility next door, and we want to look at some kind of processing partnership there as well. We've submitted a mining license application over the Big One deposit, And this week we put out our exploration targets, which has identified 42 targets and put some really good numbers for us to chase there. Our latest project to the fold is our Pomme light rare earth project in Quebec. Drilling has defined a very large carbonatite system, about 2 kilometres squared. All the drilling resulted in mineralisation. You can see some of the results there, which are pretty good. Again, we're applying some novel testing to be able to really process some of these rare earths. And we've got a 2-year low-cost option to really earn in 90% into the Pomme project through achieving technical milestones. So we're just going to drill in a bit deeper now into the Harts Range project. You can see we are smack bang in Central Australia, right in the middle of the outback, and right here our value proposition, or really what the reason why we're there, is for heavy rare earths and niobium. Bit about the location, access, infrastructure. 6 grounded tenements, 135 square k's, about 140 kilometres northeast of the township of Alice Springs. From Perth, where I live, it's a 2.5-hour flight. Get into Alice Springs, pick up a 4-wheel drive, and within about 3 hours, you're out at site. So fantastic infrastructure. The tenure resides on pastoral lease. We've got a good relationship with the local pastoralists there, and we access that through well-maintained tracks and sealed highways. Tenements are granted, and really good regulatory approvals for all of those tenure there. You can see we're surrounded by some of the ASX listed majors, including Independence Group and Rio Tinto. The ground there is pretty tightly held, even though it looks like there's area in there. Here's some pictures here. Right in the middle, you see one of our executive directors there holding the briefcase, XRF, and one of our fieldies. And in the background, that's the Cusp prospect. And to the right, that's the Bob's prospect. These are the 2 original prospects that got us interested in the project there. And on the far left, you can see some of the mineralisation. This is your heavy rare earth mineralisation. You get your heavies, you get your dysprosium, terbium. Also, you get niobium and tantalum with it as well. And we've identified these in the rock chip stamp, in the pegmatites themselves. They're all outcropping from surface. And we've undertaken a drilling campaign in December last year to really test the depth extension to see if what we're seeing at surface is at depth. And again, the real intriguing thing with this is, like I said, the heavies. The only place you get heavy rare earths is China. It's pretty much it. And then the former company I worked for, Northern Minerals, that's it. All roads lead to China. And so when we saw this project and these numbers, we thought this is quite a unique opportunity, and we really wanted to give it a crack. You can see this is our systematic exploration approach. You can see the 2 primary prospects, Cusp and Bob's, on your right-hand side. And we started with that about 18 months ago. And, we flew airborne geophysics, radiometrics, because heavy rare earths are associated with the uranium signature. And back at Northern Minerals, that's how we identified these heavy rare earths. You highlight all your radiometrics, and then you literally get on the ground and you find them. And since we've done that, flying the airborne geophysics, our team has discovered another 5-6 prospects. You can see to the west of Bob's. There are a whole bunch of prospects that have returned some fantastic total rare earth oxide values. So we've taken a real systematic approach, and we've really just started on what is a considerable land package there. And down on the table in the bottom there, you can just see some of your best TREO values. You can see a heavy rare earth to total rare earth ratio there. That really tells you you're dealing with a heavy rare earth species, and not just lights as well. And then you've got dysprosium, terbium, niobium, and tantalum, really good numbers there as well. Now, this is very significant here. Grade is one thing, but the distribution of your rare earths within a basket is absolutely key. And if you look at here, you can see our dysprosium and terbium. Those numbers are probably some of the highest you're ever going to see anywhere on the planet in terms of distribution. Northern had similar kind of numbers. They had what's called a xenotime host. We've got what's called a samarskite. And but that terbium and those dysprosium numbers are fantastic. And if you look at the table to the right, that sums up your economics. Neodymium, praseodymium, they're your light rare earths needed for your permanent magnets. $79 a kilogram after We saw Trump put in a bit of a floor price under MP Materials. That's come up from $55. Dysprosium terbium, this is where it gets interesting, 201 US a kilogram, and terbium is 889 US a kilogram. So when we talk about rare earths, not all rare earths are created equal. You want to have in your basket the high value rare earths, because that's what makes sense economically, and that's what's going to make you money if you can get a basket like that in. And globally, you may be lucky to find five companies that have exposure to the heavies on those kind of distribution numbers. So we kind of think that's quite significant. It's just a case of how much can we define and find there. One of the things we did is with that 25 kilogram bulk sample that you just saw, we did some preliminary met testing with metallium. They're also listed on the OTC as well. And one of the things we did is we put that through their flash Joule heating system. Essentially what it does is it has this ability to cook a sample within 2 to 3 seconds from 0 degrees to 3,000 degrees. And you add a bit of chloride and a catalyst, and you add your ore in as well, and then out comes a metal chloride, which can then go to be processed. If you look at the results, we got a 20 times upgrade. Our TREO from our bulk sample went from 1.7% total rare earth oxide to 35% in one step. So we thought that was pretty good. Dysprosium was upgraded 53 times, terbium 21 times, neodymium 114 times. So fantastic results. It's early, but that's kind of was quite encouraging to see this from a 25 kg bulk sample. Okay, we're going to move off from the rare earths in Northern Territory, and we're going to go to the Mount Isa region in the northwest Queensland Copper Project here. You can see we're on the east coast now. Again, a fantastic jurisdiction. Now, the Northwest Copper Queensland Project is located about 140 kilometres north of the township of Mount Isa in Queensland, Australia. The Big One deposit is by far the most advanced prospect. It is a JORC-compliant mineral resource, estimate of 2.1 million tonnes at 1.1% copper, so just under 22,000 tonnes of contained copper. We're located in a Tier 1 jurisdiction. I call it the Beverly Hills of the Mount Isa Copper District. So it's prime real estate. It's the best kind of land you want to be. If you're going to play copper, Mount Isa is the place you want to be. Significant land package, so just under 1,000 square kilometres. So that's Manhattan 17 times is going to fit into that green tenure there. So it's a very large land package there that we're exploring, and you'll see how many targets that we've got there. Really good government support from Queensland, and there's a lot of initiatives there with their grants to help establish and develop these regions with really good access and infrastructure to the project as well. Our strategy with Northwest Queensland is really securing our mining lease. We've just applied for that, and that's under review with the Queensland regulator at the moment. And next, we want to advance our MOU, or our processing partnership, with Austral Resources. Austral are an ASX-listed company. They have the Mount Kelly processing facility, and they are actually processing copper cathode at the moment as well. I think their grade that they're processing is 0.6%. And so they really want to utilise copper feed from our Big One deposit, higher grade, to kind of blend in as well. So, and the next thing we want to do is really assess the Big One deposit. There's a lot more to that in terms of drilling it deeper, wider, and we really want to look at putting a few more holes into the resource there to upgrade the MRE. And then fourthly, we want to look at our regional exploration opportunities. There's so much ground in the area and so many targets that we want to get this development or this exploration pipeline going so we can have more targets to drill. So this week we actually put out our exploration target, which was fantastic, and quite a bit of work's gone into this. What it really underpins is the potential of our Northwest Queensland project there. You can see there's so many targets, and we've got a lower range of 12 million tonnes and an upper range of 58 million tonnes at 0.3 to 1.5% copper. and that represents about 50,000 tonnes to 473,000 tonnes of contained copper metal, which is fantastic. So that's a really big target. So even if you take a mid-range in there, that's quite significant from a development point of view. The most advanced is our big one, mineral resource estimate, which we really want to work on and increase as well. In addition to that, there's 14 high priority targets which really underpin the exploration target there. So when we get boots on the ground, these targets are what will be drilled first, what will be explored and targeted. And then beyond that, you've got 28 priority regional prospects there which need more work and follow-up, and just boots on the ground just to really validate a lot of what we're seeing there. Some pictures here, again, non-exec director in one of the pits there at the Big One deposit, and the picture in the middle is stockpiles. We've got quite a lot of stockpiles at surface there, grading at 3 to 4% copper. And one of the things we did last year is the team went there, took about 200 kilograms, and we did a bit of met test working, and the results came back very, very good. We're getting recoveries of 83 to 99% recoveries, and just using standard acid leach, sulfuric acid leach, and that's ideal for the Mount Kelly processing facility there. And you can see the copper there, and you can see it all going through the face of the pit there. So it's quite a nice little project there. So this is the picture on the right. There's the Mount Kelly facility there, and really what we want to do is establish a strategic partnership there, really advance what we've got in place. Really the primary objective is to process ore from our Big One through Mount Kelly. Really the combined footprint, or between the two companies, provide a scalable integrated platform with strong growth potential for both companies there. So really it's a win-win alliance that really fast tracks our development aspirations for Northwest Queensland Copper Project, but also enables AR1 to secure source of high-grade feed as well. So we're just going to go into the Pomme Rare Earth Project now. We're kind of coming to this side of the world here, and this is just a recent addition. It's an option over a Canadian rare earth carbonatite in Quebec. Again, a good mining jurisdiction. It's located about 500 km northwest of Montreal. 43 mineral claims covering approximately 2,400 hectares. So it's situated about 7 km from the world-class Montvale rare earth deposit. It's got 266 million tonnes at 1.46% total rare earth oxide and 0.14% niobium oxide. So it really tells you that there is some significant deposits in the area. Really good government support and existing arrangements with the local First Nations community. Excellent infrastructure, reliable power, and well-established mining community and infrastructure as well. So really this represents a low-cost option for the company to really leverage into what could be a significant world-class deposit with a little bit of work. You can see this is a total TMI, total magnetic intensity there. You can see a lot of good information that was undertaken, airborne geophysics flown there, and you can see a lot of your structures there and your magnetic core. All the drill holes, there's about 13 drill holes, all of them intersected carbonatite, rare earth niobium mineralization, really confirmed a large mineralized system, 2 kilometers squared, that remains open laterally and at depth as well. Those drill holes are really scout holes, so when they were putting them in, they just really wanted to test to see what was there. Some of the high-grade results have been identified to the south there. You can see there was a bunch of holes that intersected your carbonatite and returned some really good results there. Pomme 2303, you can see some of those intersections were pretty good. And there's some significant exploration upside because large portions of that outer rim, you can actually see there's an outer rim there just around the magnetic core, and there's quite a bit of space that hasn't been drilled, and that's really open for further discovery. But you can see down the bottom there, there's some high grade hits, and with a bit of drilling there, you could get a reasonable resource there as well. Part of the strategy with the Pomme carbonatite is it's really a capital efficient, low cost option. It's 100 grand in cash, 200 grand in shares. Gives us a two-year option to really leverage into something that could really be a real company maker. Essentially, through milestones, we want to be able to progress this to earn 90%. First thing we really want to do is do a bit of preliminary met test work. As you know, rare earths is all about metallurgy. If you can get a pathway to cracking that metallurgy, that's going to be absolutely key. And that's the first thing we want to do. There's a lot of historic diamond core, so we want to be able to access that, and we want to start with some conventional met test work to see if we can upgrade, beneficiate that, and then also we want to tailor a flash Joule heating processing program as well with Metallium as well. One of the partnerships that we've got there. And again, we've got a bit of a vertical integration with them with Harts Range, where we saw some fantastic results with the heavy rare earths there, achieving those 20 times upgrades. So they're all things we're looking at. Then secondly, subject to the met work going well, we want to be able to model the geology, target high grade areas, and then drill some of these to put a maiden JORC resource on there. So the partnership's key. I think integration of technology in minerals is quite new, but I think with the where AI is going and technology is going, I think you've really got to embrace technology, and you're going to see deposits, 10, 15 years ago, or tailings or whatnot that weren't processable, all of a sudden become economic, and that's part of what's going to be driving us to with a bit of innovation to extract as much value as we can from these assets. So there's a little bit about our corporate overview and capital structure there. So again, we're listed on London Stock Exchange, ASX, under the ticker NFM, and as of a couple of weeks ago, we're on the OTCQB under NFMXF. We've got about 30 market caps, 31 million Australian, around US 22 million. There's about 2.63 million Australian cash in the bank, no debt, a couple of corporate milestones, strategic alliance with Austral, binding agreement with Metallium, and listing on the OTCQB last couple of weeks. Really good board, supportive board, and I think got the right mix of corporate experience, technical experience, and the projects to really add some shareholder value. So this is really our vision is through exploration, discovery, and through development is to add value to shareholders. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Kevin, and welcome to the OTCQB markets. Questions from the audience?
Yeah, could you go back to the slide before in the cash position? What was that 1.86 million US? Can you talk a little bit about the burn, how long it's going to last, when you have to raise money again, those kinds of things?
Yeah, look, the projects are pretty low cost in terms of our expenditure. We've just done a drilling program last year, and post that we've raised 2.25, and so we should see this money should last us through to 2026. And again, it all depends on we're assessing Northwest Queensland in terms of how much drilling we may need to do to increase the MRE at the Big One deposit. So there's rough numbers around 800,000 Aussie to about $1 million on that if we go ahead to do that. The Pomme project in Quebec, like I said, there's about a minimum of $100,000 per year spent on that, and that's really going to go towards metallurgical test work, which will give us a lot of good information. Again, that's a 2-year option, so again, it's not going to be a big drain on cash. And Harts Range is just really boots on the ground, greenfields exploration work. So that will, so the biggest cash burn will be depending on if we drill Northwest Queensland, and how many meters and what we end up doing there. Yeah, look, that's a plan. Look, I think copper's hot right now. Northwest Queensland, we've actually been approached by two or three groups interested in the project there. We're not going to give it away. We want to add value because I think the sector, probably where lithium was 4 or 5 years ago, I think the sector is just warming up. And as you see, there's a long-term structural deficit with copper. So I think it makes sense to add value through doing a bit of drilling there. And I think even that 800 grand to $1 million could really add some serious tonnages to the MRE there, which I think translate into value to the company.
Could you go over your AI comment and how it's going to benefit?
Sure.
Thank you.
So I wouldn't call it exactly AI, but I would call it, novel technology in terms of processing. And if you go back here, we've actually got a partnership with Metallium. Metallium are also listed on the OTCQB. 18 months ago, I was actually in their offices. They were trading around maybe $4 million market cap. Today they're capped at about 700 million. Is that right, David? They've done exceptionally well. They're also another client of Brythus. And so we've been able to partner with them. And you can see the results speak for itself here. This is the flash Joule heating. They're still commercializing it, getting up to speed. But you can see the results there, 20 times total rare earth oxide upgrade. And so our 25 kilogram bulk sample, which assayed in at 1.7% TREO, got upgraded to a 35% total rare earth oxide in one single step. So, I've been in the rare earth industry for 17 years, and I haven't seen too many things like this. And done a lot of conventional test work, your flotation, your hydromet, and all of that. But these are the things I think mining companies need to start to look at, which can be real game changing and real breakthrough technologies that could really see that could lead to these assets being company makers. So it's not so much AI, but more of a advanced mineral processing technology that's being developed. And they're in Houston, Texas.
Thanks, Kevin.